Today, our message is how to let divine love lead the way to fulfillment. It's the culminating message in the series, Love Loves Love, on fulfilling relationships and the soul life. I want to begin this message with a prayer from the Kaivalya Upanishad. O Lord, may we hear with our ears what is always auspicious. May we see with our eyes what is always auspicious. May we live the fullness of our allotted lifespan with good health and strong vitality, offering our praises to Thee. May all the divine ones protect us, save us from harm, nourish and bless us with spiritual wealth, a mind capable of understanding the truth, and a willing heart bold enough to live it. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. In this series of messages on divine love, we've explored the origins of love as the reality of God itself, permeating all life and calling us to awaken to higher love beyond self-interest. And we looked at the necessity of purifying the mental field, clarifying our thoughts and emotions so that that light of divine love can shine through us, inspire us, and transform our lives. Today, we're going to look at how to live in love by letting divine love lead us, lead the way. We started right now, this morning, with that beautiful prayer from the Upanishads. So that was intentional. Prayer is the first step to take when we want to live in love. Why? Why? Well, because prayer orients our hearts and our minds towards a higher power, towards supporting us to do what we cannot do left to our own devices. So prayer orients our hearts and our minds towards a higher power, toward higher love and the presence of supportive grace. It opens us to divine possibilities for healing and blessing. And with prayer, every day we set a spiritual intention. We open ourselves, we orient ourselves. May my ears hear what is auspicious. Auspicious means favorable, promising, bright, good, opportunistic, optimistic, hopeful, encouraging, opportune, timely, fortunate, providential, felicitous, advantageous, beneficial, full of promise. So prayer like that guides us to notice what we're listening to throughout our day. May my ears hear what is auspicious. May I be aware of good, uplifting, and truthful words. May I cultivate them inwardly as well as listen to them outwardly. May I contemplate the teachings in all that I hear. May my eyes see what is always auspicious. May I see through changing conditions and recognize the power and presence of divine love at work in my life. Prayer is how we set our intention to receive and be a vehicle for divine love. We position ourselves every morning and every night and in between with prayer. Gandhiji said, prayer is the key of the morning and the bolt of the evening. To live the day with love, start the day with prayer. And I know the divine reality isn't fussy about what name you use. You could say, hey, you. That would be fine. It's the orientation of the heart and the mind. Live the day with love. Start the day with prayer. Although prayer is powerful, I think most of us need more than that to consciously live in love. I wanted to know how to love, how to live in love. And in the case of marriage, I wanted to know how to stay in love. I had some experience in the realm of it fading away. So I began by asking the wise ones that I knew. First, I asked my grandmother, who I think of as my first guru, what advice could they give me about love? My grandmother gave me the ancient advice, never go to bed angry. It's a good idea, but it does lead to a lot of sleepless nights on the couch. Next, I asked my spiritual teacher, Roy Eugene Davis, what is the key to loving relationships? He said, be kind to one another. Just like him, simple, clear, straightforward, also good advice. But I needed to learn how to be genuinely kind and loving, not fake kind, not codependent kind, not self-serving kind, but genuinely kind. So the third piece of relation advice that I got tied it all together, and it came in a letter to my husband Amarnath and me on the eve of our wedding nearly 30 years ago. So far, so good. Amar's guru wrote to us, you are getting married. Congratulations. Then he wrote, when two people with complementary samskaras, or karmic imprints, when two people with complementary samskaras get together, they are tied down in all levels of life. They live together with lifelong commitment. What? Wait, what about soulmates? Nope. It's samskara mates. Karmic imprint mates. It is your karmic impressions and divine grace that brings you together to awaken to love and find liberation in this lifetime. And if you can know that about your relationships, if you can know that they're a vehicle for awakening to love and to liberation, that is very helpful. But then he wrote, here's the advice part. After the shock of forget about soulmates, he wrote, may God bless you both, row the boat of life with the oars of the virtues and find peace and happiness together. So that is the next step for living in love. Sadhana, or purposeful spiritual practice. It's how to root out anger so you don't have to sleep on the couch. How to learn to be kind. How to live in harmony with divine love and truth. One row, one paddle, one stroke doesn't get us across the lake. It's row, row, rowing the boat of spiritual practice, self-discipline, spiritual study, and surrender of the idea that we're separate from the source of love, that we're somehow on our own. As we do that, spiritual awakening and harmony in relationships naturally follows. So prayer, the practice of cultivating the virtues like nonviolence and truthfulness. And the third step to cultivate divine love is to learn to be present, to be here and now. Sometimes I think our life circumstances can be seen and feel like one distraction after another, one worry or concern after another. But we have the capacity and the power to slow it all down by learning to be fully present, breathing, noticing, focusing. So here's a Zen story about that, kind of. It's a story about a fellow being chased by a tiger. And he's running as fast as he can, but of course the tiger is gaining on him. Do you ever feel like you're running as fast as you can in life, but the tiger of trouble or worry is gaining on you? Yeah. So this guy runs to the edge of a cliff where he grabs hold of a vine and dangles over the edge. So you got the tiger looking down on him, Buffy's holding on to this vine. He looks down and there's tigers below. And he looks at the vine and there's a mouse chewing on the vine. Just then, he notices a lovely cluster of red, ripe strawberries growing on the vine. So he lets go with one hand, he reaches across, plucks a big strawberry, pops it in his mouth, and declares, "Ah, delicious." That's Zen for you. There are many teachings in this parable, but let's focus on the one today that can tell us that even in times of challenge or trouble, if we stop and just take notice, like what's right with us, right there, we stop and notice, we can find beauty, nourishment, freedom from worry. Author Barbara Kingsolver wrote, "In my worst seasons, I've come back from the colorless world of despair by forcing myself to look hard for a long time at a single glorious thing. A flame of red geranium outside my bedroom window. And then another, my daughter in a yellow dress. And another, the perfect outline of a full dark sphere behind the crescent moon, looking until I learned to be in love with my life again." This practice of eyes open meditation is one of my favorite daily practices. I do it every day. Just take time to look intently at one thing. You know, I look at the grain of wood on my desk. Probably a lot of writers do that. The white rose in the garden blooming next to the red maple. the luminous shine of our dog's white fur when the light catches it. And the mind grows quiet. The heart opens and the soul light shines through. And in those moments, we see and feel how precious this life is and how important love is. We all have the capacity to be in love with our life. Our life sometimes feels like a list of tasks, but our life is where God is, where divine love is continuously flowing, where we can receive divine love, and where we can be fulfilled with it. If only we turn to it. Prayer, spiritual practice, presence. Those 3 steps into the field of divine love have a foundation that supports them. And that foundation is faith. Faith in the one omnipresent reality called by many names: God, Spirit. Faith in the spiritual truth of life. Faith in our divine self. That faith inspires us to live a soul-inspired, soul-guided life, to be all about the soul, all about love. We commit to love by loving life because life is God. So I've said, if you want to love God, can't figure out how to love God, love your life. Because God is life, and we commit to loving our life, not some other life, not some other time, some other place, when this is handled or that is handled. Right now, loving our life because God is our life, not separate from it. Omnipresent, everywhere present, here now, present, now. So love requires a faithful, bold heart, willing to trust ourselves, trust our soul, inspiration, and inclination. What does that look like? Now, I have a poem from Laura Martin. I think that says it so beautifully. You know, trusting yourself, trusting life, trusting God. If you wake up early, do not wake up to maximize productivity for someone else's agenda. But wake up early to sit on the border of dark and light and listen for the word. And here, word is capitalized. You know, the divine word. If you wake up early, do not wake up to maximize productivity for someone else's agenda, but wake up early to sit on the border of dark and light and listen for the word. If you stay up late, do not stay up late to fulfill a list that will never satisfy. But stay up late because your spirit is caught in something true. If you say yes from a place of your soul's landing in the world. If you say no to be free for your own verses. Move in the world, early, late, between, yes, no. You made of holy stuff like eternity and found light, and remembering that. You made of holy stuff like eternity and found light, and remembering that. Prayer, practice, presence, remembering higher love is right where we are. Oh Lord, may we hear with our ears always what is auspicious. May we see with our eyes always what is auspicious. May we live the fullness of our allotted lifespan with good health, strong vitality, offering our praises to Thee. May all the divine ones protect us, save us from harm, nourish and bless us with spiritual wealth, a mind capable of understanding truth, and a heart willing and bold enough to live it. Om Shanti, 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 Om.